bring everyone off the stage. So, again, it's another pleasure for me to introduce Stephen Mark Williams, who's the Executive Director of the Energy Technology Partnership, who I think is perfectly timed as responding to one of the needs that was highlighted this morning about how do we link better between industry and academia. So reload your silo if you've got Slido. If you've got questions from, we'll try and squeeze one in, but it's over to Stephen Mark.
Hi, thank you very much, everybody. So yeah, my name is Stephen Mark Williams, Executive Director of ETP. We just call ourselves ETP now, actually, but I was teed up very well by the last hour because, in fact, the P used to stand for partnership. So that's okay. So the Hydro Nation Energy Innovation Programme, I think we missed a trick there also, Barry. That should have been partnership, I think, yeah, since this is the theme. So I'm here to build on and actually drill down into a little bit of what was discussed in the last hour or so. So thank you very much for that. It was quite interesting, I thought, about the spreadsheet and so on. It brings to mind that economics quote, which is, it doesn't work, and we know that it works in practice, but does it work in theory? So here we are. As you know, ETP is an energy pool, alliance, cluster, partnership, whatever you want to call it. We've been going for 13 years, and we have been running a programme on behalf of the Scottish Government and Scottish Enterprise, actually, which connects academia and industry. And we were asked by the Scottish Government to extend that expertise that we have built over the last 12 years in the energy sector into water. Dear, oh dear. We really didn't know what we were getting into. But anyway, so what we're going to talk about here is there's been a whole load of stuff over the last 5 years, as you are aware, in my sector, which really started off with the draft energy strategy, which came out in January 2017, and has really just been updated last December. Some of you might have read all 200 pages, if you were really unlucky. But there's been also a load of other stuff around energy, around innovation, around this connectivity, around this partnership piece. So if you start with the Scottish Government's budget, so when it comes out, the programme for government will list, just transition, net zero as one of its three core pillars. If you look at the Hydro Nation ambition, it's to deliver, what we can for the people of Scotland around energy. But also, if you look at Scottish Water, they have a commitment to decarbonise the water supply by 2040. And then also, if you go to Scottish Enterprise, who haven't been mentioned so far, but an important part of this, of course, they have innovation and specifically trying to increase the research capacity, not just of SMEs, but of large companies in Scotland, significantly because, according to OECD figures and others, we lag behind our partners in Europe and elsewhere in the amount of our turnover that we invest in research. So we are a tiny little cog, but we are trying to, in our own little way, alleviate or at least realise some of the ambitions of all of these policies and statements that have been put out over the last 5 years. So the way that we are going to do this is through the Hydro Nation Energy Innovation Programme, or HNIP, excuse me. So what it's going to do is basically it's going to support all those companies who are working in the water sector, not necessarily energy, but water sector, to become more innovation active through coordination of activity with academia. So we're going to fund small projects between industry and academia that will lead to collaboration, or the word here is partnership. And it's also about knowledge exchange. So academia is not a consultant. What they do is they work in partnership with industry and with the public sector for the common good, and we will support that activity. So we were supporting Scottish businesses primarily, and which are funded by the Scottish Government, but we have a team, or will have a team of 2 business development managers, and one of them is over here. Liam, would you like to stand up and introduce yourself, please? Okay. Okay, thank you very much. So Liam is embedded within, or will be eventually, within Stirling University. So that's where the Hydro Nation chair sits. So eventually there will be two. Now we're actually in the process of recruiting the second one. So if you go to the ETP or the Strathclyde website, you will find that. So if that really turns you on, that's the place to go. So we will fund small collaborative projects between industry and academia of up to £10,000. So we fund that. And I have the or financial authority. So it has a very quick approval process once I actually receive the application form. You can find the application form on the ETP website. We have, now ETP, as I said, is a collaboration. It's been running since 2008, actually, and it has 14 academic partners. So part of ETP's job is to actually go around those partners and just have a look to see what capability and expertise they have they can bring to the table. As I mentioned before, we've been doing this for a few years, and the Energy and Water, the Hydro Nation Energy Innovation Programme, isn't the only programme like this that we run on behalf of Scottish Government. We also run a transport innovation programme called, don't ask me why, ZEMAN, Zero Emission Mobility Academic Network, but it's the same thing. And we also run a hydrogen innovation programme when we have the hydrogen BDM over there. John, if you'd like to stand up, please.
Hi, my name is John.
Okay, thank you very much. So if you have any questions about any of this, you know now not to come to me, because I have no idea. Those are the two people you need to badger. So those are the 14 universities. So John is actually located within Strathclyde University. And just to be clear then about the scope, and until we actually start receiving projects, we don't really know exactly what's going to come out of the woodwork, but the kind of things that we're kind of looking at are things like contaminated water and anyway, look here. They're all up here. You can read them yourself. I don't need to read them out to you. This isn't a bedtime story. Some of it is energy, because some of the stuff we put in there because we didn't quite know where to put anywhere else. So like hydro, for example, the fantastic news about somebody told me how to pronounce it. I'm going to pronounce it Corglass. I don't know. That came out, thank you, somebody's laughing over there. So that kind of thing, not at that level, obviously, of scale, but some people have like smaller stuff that they might want to bring to us. So anyway, come and talk to us about this kind of thing. Remember, it's about partnership working, it's about collaborative working, it's about making the most of the fantastic academic expertise that we have within Scotland for the benefit of us all, but primarily meeting our ambitions around net zero and around Hydro Nation. So research excellence, knowledge exchange, skills, and connectivity, that's what we're about, and that's me.